MR.KOA.
We need to talk.
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 Welcome back to another episode of Wntt TV. I'm host Mr. KOA alongside
Top Boy.
And we're going to open up real quick with personal ways or personal methods that we deal with our self-care. The reason I wanted to start with this is because this was a very tough weekend for me. I am working on my self-care for the next month and a half by just taking time off. It's very easy to get caught up doing work or doing things, even training, whatever you're doing, training, working, drawing, or whatever. And you're so into something, sometimes you feel like you're progressing because you're just obviously constantly working on something. But it's easy to get caught up in the sense that, continuous working and consistency also drains your body and your mind. So having the right balance, it's good to work on things. It's good to be committed and, do work on something, improve yourself every single day. But it is also important to do those things with balance and with recognition of how these things are affecting you. So this weekend I had 3 weddings back to back to back, which I will never do again for the rest of my life. I will never allow myself to book 3 weddings consecutively like that. They were booked months in advance, so I was dreading this weekend for most of the year. But I thought it was okay. By the time I get there, I'll be fine. But when I actually got there, I was like, wow, this is really tough. Like it's tough on my body, it's tough on my mind. I didn't really feel like I was as creative and aware as I could be at each event. But I did what I could to get through it. But it's just important that when you're excited and you're getting certain things and opportunities and stuff, that you also pay attention to how things are going to affect your body, because without your body, you can't do anything. So I'm taking the next month or so off to kind of decompress, relax, get some stuff done, and kind of just appreciate how this year has gone so far. But I'm not taking anything off from the show. We'll obviously come for that. But in terms of shooting and actively going out and doing projects, I won't be doing that for quite some time. How do you deal with your self-care and time management and balance? I'm still struggling. I struggle every day.
Time management is an ongoing thing for me. I feel like I should probably get into a better habit of constantly writing down my schedule and stuff like that. But I use my phone more than anything for that type of stuff. But in terms of self-care, honestly, the same way that you would schedule in work, you kind of just have to schedule in like time every week or every day. I've said before to people that because I train people in boxing, like one thing that I notice is that people usually will wake up in the morning and the first thing they do is basically just go on about their day, right? They don't even take 5 minutes to stretch. And I think that's like a very big thing that you have to do from a physical perspective and taking care of yourself. Because quite frankly, like I don't want to be that person in the future where the bus has to lower for like me to get off because I'm so stiff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm just being real. And I think a lot of it comes from years of just not taking care of ourselves physically and mentally, right? So literally just taking time throughout the day to be like, okay, I gotta stretch. I gotta mentally stretch. I need to maybe sit back for a second, even if it's a couple minutes, and just think to myself, okay, like, what do I have coming up for the day? How am I feeling right now? Like checking with yourself, those types of things. For me personally, on top of doing everything that I just said, I kind of get like my relaxation, like my self-relief through things like boxing, to be honest with you.
That's me in basketball.
Yeah, there's nothing, to be honest, there's people who talk about boxing, like passively, they say it must be a really good stress relief because you're just punching a bag.
Yeah.
Personally, like I don't get that feeling from it because I don't have pent up
anger
rage.
issues.
I have anger issues, so it's not like I need to punch a bag because I had a bad day at work. But I understand the logic behind it. Right? It is something, but I understand the logic behind it. But that's just not me. That being said, the boxing definitely helps. And question I was going to ask you actually the other day, I was talking to my partner about. We asked the question was basically, what is your idea of fun, right? Like, if you had to think of something in
like
your...
at this age,
like in your head, what is an activity to you that is fun to do, that every time you do it, you're like, oh, okay, this makes me happy. I feel good doing it. For me, personally, and this is really showing my age.
Yeah.
It's literally just going out with a friend or like a group of friends and just eating food.
Yeah.
That's it. Like
Yeah.
eating food and drinking, mainly eating food. But like if I do those two things with
Yeah.
people that I like,
Yeah.
I have the most fun.
Yeah.
Right? Because it doesn't require a lot of effort. I feel like when you break bread with people, everyone ends up just being comfortable. And I genuinely enjoy myself. I'm never stressed in those moments.
Yeah.
Right? So if flipping it to you, what do you think is a fun activity? Something that to you, you're like, wow, okay, if I do this, I know I'm gonna have fun.
So for people who do follow me on Instagram or any type of social media, I'm typically dancing at events or parties or weddings or whatever. At least once, I try to do at least one time, try and get myself out there to just have fun and kind of join the group. But for me, like I'm having the most fun. Shout out to Lisa Monet, one of my good friends who's a DJ. She hosts a party every couple months called That Slow Jam Party, where they do like, you know, retro songs and slow R&B tracks, Usher, and all those old tracks that we all love, 90s and 2000s. I have the most fun at those parties. One, because we're not in the era where people memorize songs like we used to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like songs come out, they come and go, but no one's really memorizing lyric for lyric of all the new songs that come out.
Yeah.
You're not. You enjoy it, you take it in, you drive with it, cool.
Yeah.
But like there was a time back in the 2000s and 90s where any track that you really love, like I don't know if you remember, you probably remember too, because you're probably like me, where if you don't remember a track, if you don't remember lyrics to a song, you will write it down, you will memorize it, and you will play that song over and over and over until you memorize like line by line, until you're like so confident because you're like, when this song comes on, I'm out with people,
belt the
I
lyrics.
need to know every single, like you need it for yourself. So when she hosts those parties, I have the most fun at those because it's like you're in a room where everyone was doing the same thing as you as a kid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you can, like, without even having like a conversation, you're like, the only way for you to know lyric for lyric is you had to be doing exactly what I was doing at these times. Like, we're all doing it. Like, without actually having a conversation with you, I can know that if you know every lyric word for word of all these old school songs, we almost shared that same moment together. And when everyone's kind of like belting, like, you know, Usher song, Confession. Like, if we can all belt Confessions, we all remember, one, the time where we were when we heard that song.
Yeah.
And two, it's just kind of like, you're almost serenading people in the club. But it's
you
like,
don't know.
you don't know. But
Yeah.
it's like, it really shows how much, you know, music impacts people. And I feel like I have the most fun in those parties because, like, especially in Toronto, man, like, nobody dances anymore. Nobody sings anymore. You just go to clubs and post up and stare at each other and look at people's fits.
Yeah.
So, like, when we can bring people back to a moment where parties were fun and people were
Yeah.
dancing and singing, like, it wasn't too cool to dance and you weren't too cool to sing. Like, I have most fun at that because I can tell that people that come to those parties, you almost sense that when they go other places, they're holding back. And like, that's their moment where they're like, no one else cares? Okay, cool.
You know what her parties kind of do for me? Like, they make me think about what it felt like to be in high school, going to high school dances.
Yeah.
You know, like, obviously it's not as, like, cheesy.
I know what you mean.
But it's the fact that, think about it, like, I honestly don't know if they still do high school dances at
Probably
school
not.
because of
Probably
all the
not.
foolishness
Yeah,
that goes
yeah.
on. But it's
Probably
like,
not.
but it's the fact that, you know, like you said, you show up, there's a bunch of people you don't even know, and everyone is doing the exact same thing, just having a good time. And I feel like Lisa's probably one of the few DJs in the city where every single time she throws a party, even if it's not just her slow jam one, that's the vibe you're gonna get pretty much every time. So,
You know what's funny about, like, even just music or parties like those, or, you know, old school jams, like, you know, Juice holds like a 90 party, for example. Anytime there's like those old school throwback parties, I think one of my favorite parts about it is like you're saying, you don't know people that are there. Everyone's a stranger, but there's always one song or some moment that brings everyone together where you might be dancing on a girl, and there's a man you don't know holding you up, pulling your shoulder, popping your collar, and you're like, you don't know that man, but you
Don't know him at all.
You just allow it. And like, it's just, I don't know. Music, I don't know.
early 2000s was honestly, the early 2000s and obviously the 90s were a great time for music.
Yeah.
I mean, I still obviously love the music that comes out today, but it's the fact that, like you said, there are songs that you probably haven't actively listened to in like 10 years.
But the lyrics are there still.
They're still there. And when there are things that I don't remember that I probably should remember.
Yep,
But there's a large compartment of my brain that has lyrics just like a Rolodex.
Yep.
Just ready to go.
Interesting.
All right, so we're gonna get into some of the questions that you guys gave us this week. We had a few more, actually a lot more. I think you guys were waiting to just ask us questions. So to start, we've got some pretty wild ones. I'm not gonna lie, but we're gonna start off with some.
Yeah, you guys are wild. Remember the TV show, huh?
Some of these, I'm just like, I don't know if we can talk about this.
I know we're raw, but we're on TV now.
Okay, so this one actually relates to the whole self-motivation thing and this type of stuff. How do you stay motivated to work out?
I don't work out.
I was gonna say, like, you don't work out, do you?
Okay, my workout is basketball.
Yeah.
So
how often do you play basketball?
I play basketball at least 3 times a week.
Yeah.
So also tying into what we're talking about self-care, there was a time where I was so busy and working on everything, and I was so excited to just take projects and just work and just do stuff that I was sacrificing my time I used to put into basketball. Although like I'm not trying to go pro anymore and that goal's not there, but basketball is my first passion, my first love, and something that is a release to me. It's my therapy. It's how I, decompress and calm down and have my mind straight and relax. And I don't work out, like lift weights, but that is my workout. So what was happening when I didn't make time for that, I noticed I wasn't as excited. I didn't have much energy. I was more stressed out.
Yeah.
I was getting more projects, but I'm like, something is missing, and there was that release, and that release is necessary. So what I realized I had to do was, like you're saying, the same way I'd block off time for projects, I'm like, you need to join a league, and you need to go play pickup, and these things have to happen.
Yeah.
So if you need to push shoots to different days or just not shoot certain days, that has to happen.
Yeah.
You can't, you need to make time for these things. So, and I was gaining weight, which I'm not big, but I noticed if you're always editing, you're always on the computer all the time, and you're eating, you're gonna gain weight. And I'm just I just felt, sluggish. Yeah. So now I've carved out time that I'm like, I'm just not gonna shoot certain days. I will go to basketball, whether I feel like it or not. It has to become almost the same way as a job. You need to show up, go show up and go work on yourself. So I'm 2 to 3 times a week. I work out. I play basketball a couple hours. It's enough workout for me, but I hate lifting weights. That's just me. I've always been like that. So
that's interesting. Why do so many tall dudes not like lifting weights?
I don't know, man. It's not fun.
That's why you guys don't need it.
Hey, bro. Listen.
Us short people need to lift weights so we have some density.
You guys don't look brolic?
This guy's a brolic. Who created the term brolic?
Brolic?
Did that come from Bro Lee, from Dragon Ball Z?
I actually have no idea.
I have no clue. Anyway, how do I stay motivated to work out? I'm in a unique position because I, like I said before, teach people in boxing. I'm teaching about 5-6 times a week. And while I'm teaching people, I'm kind of passively training. I'm kind of doing the workout with them. I haven't been going to the gym and lifting weights as much as I should be, probably in the last 2-3 months.
Because of the classes? You're just tired from the classes?
I don't know. It's because I'm really busy, right? So I haven't been able to properly carve out as much time as I'd like to go to the gym and start lifting weights again. That being said, there's something called the 2-day rule, which I used to implement when it came to working out, and then I started putting it in other aspects of my life. Specifically, with the whole videography thing, I was doing it with color grading, learning how to color grade better. But the 2-day rule essentially works like this. No matter what it is that you want to do in life, you have to do whatever that is a minimum of 2 days in a row. You can't take 2 days off after that.
Right.
So in Ryan's case, he's gonna play basketball. Let's say he plays basketball Monday, but he takes Tuesday off. He's gotta go back and play Wednesday. You can't take 2 days off because I think a study showed that when people were trying to learn a new language, for example, it took them significantly longer, or it was harder for them to retain the information when they took 2 days off.
Because in between.
Yeah, in between. Because once you reach that 3rd day, you almost don't even care at that point, because you're just like, I missed 2 days and one more is not gonna matter. But I found that doing this when it came to learning new things in our craft or with boxing or training, it really helps. So for me, I think that's what works for me. But if you're looking for something to help keep you motivated, maybe try to implement a rule like this. I mean, at the end of the day, there's not going to be any form of punishment because it's you that's implementing it, but it's a good way to keep yourself accountable. And you can try in other aspects of your life first and then try and apply it to working out.
I feel like one of the best ways, I guess, to motivate myself, not even just working out, but in anything, is being disciplined. Because we're so easily undisciplined as people. It's so easy to just stop doing something because it hurts, or stop doing something because you're tired, or stop doing something because it's boring, or there's always a reason to stop doing something. But we seldom find reasons to keep doing something, right? And if you're strong enough to hold on to the reasons that are keeping you doing those things, then it's a lot easier for you to continue in those paths. Because if let's say, for example, you have, like, people have heard before, like, you need a why, right?
Yeah.
You need your why. Whatever it is you're doing, why are you doing it? If you're, trying to become a boss or trying to get a raise or whatever, why do you want the raise? Is it just more money? Do you want to, offer things differently than your manager used to do to you? Like, what is your reason to do for why you want to get somewhere?
Yeah.
And if a lot of people don't have their why, which is why they don't continue and they're not motivated, because they're just doing it, don't really know why they're doing it, they just want to do it.
Yeah.
I just want to be rich. It's like, why do you want to be rich? I just want to be rich. But if your reason isn't strong enough, you're not going to do the things that need to happen to get rich.
Take the necessary
you just
steps.
want it. I just want it. It's like, but you have no reason why. But if you're like, I want to be rich because I'm tired of seeing homeless people on the street. I want to be rich because, I want my family to whatever. Like, those reasons won't stop. You're going to keep seeing homeless people on the street, and that will be enough to be like, I need to do something. I still don't like this. You know what I'm saying? So I found my why for reasons I do certain things. We could talk about another episode what our whys are, because that's actually something I wanted to talk about with him.
But that's actually really important, though. I actually had a conversation, like, on the weekend with a friend of mine about discipline.
Yeah.
And so first question I got to ask you, right, is, like, do you think, like, how highly do you rank discipline when it comes to looking for a partner or being with someone? Do you think that's important to see in your partner?
To see in them. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's mandatory for me.
Yeah.
It's not even negotiable.
And I think for a lot of people, it is, but they don't realize the importance of it until they see that person lacks discipline. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's important to kind of have these goals laid out in advance. Quite honestly, I don't really care, like, what your goals are. To me, it's more so, like, how disciplined are you
To achieve them.
right? Because you and I could be, we could have completely different interests, things that we don't align in. But what will break a relationship for me is if I see that you want to do something and it's clear to me you're not disciplined at all in trying to achieve it. Right? So it's interesting, though, because in that same conversation with my friend, I talked about how growing up, when I moved here, my mom put me in martial arts, and she put my brother in art school. Right. So I did martial arts for like 12 years, and I think once I hit 18 years old, I stopped doing it. I took like 3 years off.
Okay.
And I was so undisciplined during those 3 years, and I think when I look back on it, I think it was because I had some form of, like, regiment that I was going on. And the thing is, I wasn't playing team sports either until late high school. So I think being in sports and being in something like martial arts where it's just you, I think it kind of forces you to have discipline at a young age, and then it transitions into other parts of your life. We've talked about being athletes, how that helps with us being freelancers. But do you think, like, what do you think most, this is kind of a broad question, but what do you think most men's why are? Like, why do you think a lot of men do the things that they do? Because I've heard something saying that, like, everything that a man does
It's for women.
is for women. Do you think that's true? Do you think that's accurate or false? What do you think?
I think there's a large portion of men that do things for women, but I feel those type of men that do things for women, either one, haven't necessarily realized their own worth, as cliche as that sounds. Because I feel like once you actually acknowledge, like, what you actually bring to the table in terms of education, skill set, impact, blah, 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 you're like, if I continue doing what I'm doing, women will come. That has nothing, like, once you, like, it's not even in a cocky way. It's more just like the woman that you want, or women, or if you want multiple women, whatever it is, like, once you get on path on what you are good at and what works for you in your life, you don't have to do it for them. Like, you just doing is gonna bring them. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like before guys to get to a point where they actually understand that and they're more insecure on how good they are at something, where they're, they don't feel like they're making enough money, they don't feel like they're successful enough, whatever. Then they try to play this catch up of like, I need to get these things so people notice me. Like, so people really believe like, like I know I can do this, but I want them to believe I can do this. But I think once you get confident, like, no, I'm aware I can do this. You guys are also going to be aware of this. Like, once it happens, I think it's just a time frame of maturity and understanding of oneself, which kind of changes your view on like who you're doing it for. Because I think like you and I right now, I think both of us are like, I know what I do. I mean, if you're the right person, then you'll be there. And if you're not, then you won't.
I'm a firm believer. I'm a firm believer that you basically attract who it is that you want in your life, right? And yes, there are active things that you can do. It could be anything like peacocking, right? You get a nice car, the way you dress, like these things will attract certain types of people. But I've always found it interesting because I remember a comedian way back, Hot Damn I Rock, like famous YouTuber, he used to say, he had a bit.
Classic.
Yeah, it's very classic. He had a bit where he was talking about everything that a man does is to get women, right? Like, and he's like, you watch a movie, he's like, in movies, a guy is either dying for women, trying to get a woman, or trying to save a woman, right? And it's like, those are very broad, but it's like, in every movie, something like that is happening, right? So I think those things play into men's minds at such a young age that they think,
you need to win.
Yeah, I need to do this so that someone will like be attracted to me, or they'll be gravitated towards me. And maybe at a very primal level, that's how it is for all of us, right?
Subconsciously could be.
So I think subconsciously it is, but we just are at a point now in time in society where it's not so much at the forefront of my mind when I think about these things. But it's weird because I don't know if women have to think about those things as much as we do. You know what I mean?
Like, so to be a certain way for a man?
I definitely do think they do that.
Okay.
But I think the dynamic where it's like every single thing that I do for a guy from a young age, every single thing that I do is for the sole purpose.
To impress women.
Is to impress women. Sometimes it's not even to get a woman.
I agree.
It's to impress a woman. You know what I mean?
Women aren't necessarily trying to impress us.
Yeah. They
like, in fact,
they don't have to.
No, in fact, they're trying to impress each other.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy. Girls are more worried about how other girls are viewing them than how we actually look at them.
Yeah.
Because like makeup and all these different things and outfits and spending money on different products and blah blah and buying purses, whatever. Like, they do a lot of those things. Yes, they love it for themselves, but a lot of it is to outdo that next woman. Like, because guys don't really even give a shit about most of those things. It's really, they know like other girls gonna be like, oh, nice purse. Yeah. Even the rings, bro. The amount of weddings I've shot now, like rings are crazy. Like
this guy's voice got so high when he said crazy.
Because it's crazy. Like, it almost makes me sick, bro. Like, not even joking. Like, the amount of like just the mindset about the ring and like. Okay, you get your husband gets you a diamond, cool. You put it on, you love it, nice. But after that woman gets that ring, that guy has not like he's not even like he has that. There's like 2 seconds of appreciation for that guy.
Yeah.
But then it's like, oh my God, girls, look, like it's like, yo, it's
no one's like, yo, look at the ring you got her.
No,
no one's saying that to the man.
No one's going to the guy and be like, yo, dog. I like yo.
That's a crazy ring.
Like, no girls go up to him like, oh my God, like. You did what? Like, how much was that? You must have worked. Like, no, it's really the woman going to other women to be like, look at the ring I have. Not he got. You understand how crazy that is? Not look at the ring that my fiance got me. Look, guys, come in, baby, come in.
Yeah.
No.
It's never that.
No, look, guys, look what I have now. Like, And then the guy's just standing there like, yo, I'm broke. Like, you guys don't know I'm broke right now. It's sad, man. It's sad. But like, like I feel, honestly, I feel for some guys, because I'm never gonna forget, I don't remember which one it was, but there was one guy, he proposed to his girl, and she was so happy, it seemed. And
Holy.
And she ran off, and her girls were all there, and she ran off and started, showing her girls off the ring. Oh my God, it's beautiful. And I was recording everything, right? So I'm recording the proposal, and I record her reaction. She's showing it off, and she's so happy. And like in the corner of my eyes, more, the guy's just standing there, like alone. Like all his friends, all the girls are with her, and he's kind of just like, why did I do this? Like, it was almost like a moment of like,
does no one care about me?
It was just, I don't know, it was just weird. It was kind of like, he had like a 2 seconds of fame.
Well, look, we've talked about this before, right? Where it's when we had Marcus on the podcast, like months ago, and he was just like, the wedding day is not for us.
No.
It's not for us. Like, yes, I'm gonna be so happy on my wedding day. Ecstatic. But that day's not for me.
No.
That day's for the woman that I'm marrying, right? And I think the quicker a lot of dudes realize that at a young age, I think they'll be a lot happier on their wedding day, right? Because look, at the end of the day, for me, I'm happy when my girl's happy. That phrase, happy wife, happy life, is you quickly realize that's very real when you get in a relationship, right? But I could not agree more with you about the whole ring situation, because I don't think, is there anything like that for men when we get married?
It's a band. Might as well be elastic band.
This guy said elastic
might
band.
as well. It's a simple band.
There's literally nothing we get, right? We can get on our wedding day. And you know what else upsets me about the wedding ring?
What?
Look, I'm saying all this knowing that if the girl that I marry says to me, I want a big diamond, or I want some type of ring, right? I'm probably going to get it, right? I'm not so much of a tyrant.
If that's the one.
If I didn't love my girl, then I wouldn't do it, right? But of course, if I love her and I want to get married to her, I'm gonna be like, oh, okay,
I'll make it work.
I'll make it work. That's the thing. I won't be. I might not be happy about it, but deep down, I'm gonna be angry. But I'm like, all right,
I'll make it work.
I'll work for 4 months to like get you this ring. But the thing that upsets me about this ring is like that ring. I never in my life want to see that ring just chilling on the on the night table.
It better deserve respect.
like I never in my life want to hear you say.
Put it out. Like,
I never want to hear you say, I don't know where my ring is.
Oh no,
bro.
no.
That ring better be fused to your finger for the rest of your life. The amount of money I spend on that.
If you lose the ring,
thing.
you better lost that finger too. Where's my ring? Where's the finger?
Where's your finger?
The finger better be with it.
So I know for a fact there's so many women watching this and saying that we're crazy.
Hey.
And I know there are a lot of men sitting there like, they're right. Like, better lose that finger if you lose that ring. Next question. Do you think there's a time frame / limit on when you should fall in love with someone? Like, do you think that 2 months into a relationship is too quick or not? What do you think?
So the 2 words I'm gonna take out of there is limit and should. So both those things, when you attach the word love to it, don't exist.
Yeah.
Limit, there's no limit when it comes to love, because how do I quantify if I love you more? Like, even that conversation, like, oh, people, I love you more. They say it like it's cute.
Yeah.
But nobody knows. Like,
Yeah.
you show your way to loving differently, and I might, and vice versa. So someone saying I love you more because I did this means absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Because I'm doing these things, which is my way of showing love, right? So no one can say I love you more. It's cute, all right, whatever. But you can't quantify love. So there's no limit, right? The other word is should. Again, with love, there are no shoulds, because
should I love this guy?
like who's to say what you should or should not love? If you fall in love, you fall in love. People fall in love with bad people that are not for them.
Yeah.
They shouldn't do it, but what do you mean, like, shouldn't, based on what? Based on what other people are gonna think? Based on what, society has told you? Like, what is the you should not do or should do based on?
Yeah,
right?
When it comes to your point, just feeding off of it, when it comes to love, I think you just know. is just a feeling. There's no, I've never in my life sat there, been, talking to a girl or sleeping with a girl for however long, and had a real internal conversation with myself where I said, okay, she does this, I don't like when she does this, she does all these things, so that means I love her. I don't think about that. It just happens, right? And I think that's what scares people, right? Because the question here is like, what is the time limit? Like, when is 2 months too short, right? It's like you can fall in love with someone honestly in like a week, right? You really could.
Doesn't mean you know them, but you might be in love with them.
You might be in love with them. The thing is, there's a difference between infatuation and love as well. Like, those two things are, I think, often misconstrued with each other. So people are like, oh my God, I think I'm in love with this guy. It's like,
you just really like them.
You might just really like this guy. Like, you're probably really infatuated. For me, I know I'm in love with someone when I start thinking about them. Almost as much, if not before me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm start thinking
like
about their well-being.
Selfless behavior.
It's like a selfless behavior. Right? What for you? For like asking you, like, how do you know when you're in love? It's a tough question. Like, how do you know? Like,
I think for me, it's I'm a giver in the sense of like assistance, help, money if need be or whatever. Trips, experiences, that's how I am. I'm a giver. Not always financial, just I give what I can when I can. Family I love, of course, because I would do anything for my family. My mom can call me tomorrow, say I need this, and I'm not like, oh, it's done, cool. Like it's not even a guess or second guess, right? And loving a partner is the same way for me. Like, if something's needed, it's done. Like, regardless of what it is, that's just how I am. Something, this broke down. All right, cool. I got you. Like, I'll pick you up. Or this, I can't afford this. Done. It's paid for. Like, it's not even like I'm thinking like, should I, can I? It's no. You're gonna do it. And deal with that later. Like that's literally just how my brain works. So I don't actually even question what it is I'm doing about those people. It's rare for me to fall in love because it can be very expensive and like not just financially, but like energy and. You have to talk to them and like even like here's an easy example. Fights. Fights tell you if you love somebody. And I'll tell you why. Because if you don't love someone or even let alone like somebody, when you're in an argument, you're not even giving that any time. Like if I'm arguing with someone that I really don't care about and definitely don't love, if the argument starts, I'm just like, I'm not doing this. And I'm done. Like I'm just not gonna do it. I'm choosing not to engage in this because I actually don't have the energy or care enough for it. But when you do love somebody, have you ever caught yourself realizing that you've been arguing about something for a very long time? Not because you want to keep arguing, but because you genuinely want them to understand you. And you genuinely want to understand them, as long as it does take. You know what I'm saying? So you wouldn't do that if you weren't in love because it wouldn't matter. If I don't love you, like, I don't actually care to understand your point. Like, I generally don't care if I understand it or not. Or if you understand mine or not. I don't. Right?
Like, going off of that again, I think, look, until you're married to someone, I truthfully don't even really think that you're completely, like, and totally obligated to, like, basically facilitate those conversations, right? Those arguments. But it's when you love someone that oh, okay. Because if I wasn't dating you, I'd probably, this is something I would not entertain.
Not even bother.
Right? If we were just sleeping with each other, seeing each other, I wouldn't entertain any of this, right? And that's a really good point, talking about fights basically reveal how much you love someone. Because, and that's the thing too, it'll basically show you as well when you've fallen out with someone.
What am I willing to deal with? Do I want to keep doing this? Not really.
Because I think that's a big thing. Look, we're young, right? We're not married. We don't know what it's like to be married yet. But I think when I think about relationships, especially at my stage in life, a lot of it comes down to how much am I willing to deal with, right? There are obviously things that I am willing or unwilling to compromise on, right? Because I have a certain set of standards that I want for my partner, and I think I want to be with someone who has those same standards for me.
Right.
But even after all of that, there are things where I look at and say, look, I might not want to deal with this anymore, right? And I think my age plays into that. I think the fact that I'm not married plays into that. I don't think those are negative things, right? Because we're not obligated to deal with these situations, right? But being in love with someone will change it.
So I have a question for you, just because you keep saying we're not obligated, which I agree with as well, but we could be argued against in the sense that does being married, or do you believe that you get married before you get married?
That's a good question, and I think you do.
Which, if you do think then that negates your point.
No. I'll tell you when, though. So, like,
Go ahead.
Because...
You understand what I'm saying, though?
No, I understand.
Because we're not married, and so I actually have to
I understand what you're saying.
But then you... Right.
I think time plays a factor here, right? So, if you've been dating... Look, for me, in my mind, there's, like, dating someone, and then there's... like really dating someone. So I was talking to my boys about this where...
what's really dating?
Yeah, that's what I'll explain. I'll explain, right?
Yeah.
So I have some boys that have been dating their girls for a long time, right? Some over a decade, some nearly a decade. And I've been dating my girl for like 2.5 years, right? What's crazy though is those people that have been dating much longer, they've never lived with their partner.
Right.
Ever, right? And I get there are like situations that have happened, but I think I am in a much different stage of dating with my partner than someone who is, because I live with my partner, I'm with them every day. It's completely accelerated, but it's totally different. Like, you could be dating someone, I don't care how long you've been dating with someone. If you have not lived with them, this is a hot take.
You don't really know.
I don't think you really understand the level of your relationship yet.
I agree. I do agree.
Right? Because you could be dating for 5... Look, you guys in the comments can tell me if I'm wrong, yeah? But you could be dating for 5 years. 5 years.
Live with someone for a year.
Never live with each other. And then as soon as you guys start living with each other, you're like, yo, you do this? I don't like this. Yeah. And it can change.
And I can't live like this.
And I can't live like... It can change everything. Right, so
I think that's the biggest thing to like. Once you acknowledge, like, it's not just like I can't be with you.
Yeah,
it's like I can't live. Like I can't function properly for the next years of my life in this manner.
You know what I mean?
like you're more than just like being in a relationship. Like no, like you're structurally impacting my livelihood. I'm sorry.
Like I don't think I'm saying anything crazy here.
No,
you guys can tell me if I'm wrong, but I genuinely believe that. So the reason why I agree with you in saying you get married before you get married, because I also think I believe in common law. Like I think that's a real thing. You live with someone long enough, you guys start getting into a routine. You already both know at some point we're probably gonna get married.
It's gonna be a paper thing at that point.
It's a paper thing. Then we're gonna get the family involved and all that type of stuff, right? So, yes, I do believe you get married before you get married. And at that point, when you're at that stage, I'm definitely obligated to you to do certain things, right? Because we've already invested this much time. We've probably invested money into a lot of things. I can't at that point just say, you know what, I don't have to entertain this because we're not married. It's like,
but the reason I'm asking this is because you right now, from a rational mind, are making sense of that for you.
Yes, for me.
But
yes,
in terms of what actually happens in real relationships is many men and women really put that line where it's like, we could be dating for 10 years, living together for 20, I don't give a damn. If I don't have a ring on this finger, I'm actually not, like, I'm not obligated. Like, you actually don't own me. Like, and you're like, that's like, what are you talking about?
Look, I hear you.
Know what I'm talking. Like,
I hear. I know,
like, until I'm married, I could technically walk out right now. It's like 20 years. You're walking out.
Okay.
No,
hold on.
What I'm saying is, some people literally use that as a thing. It's like, until I'm actually married, like, no, like I'm not doing that.
I 100% hear that, but those people are crazy. Because look. let's be honest here. Look, if
Don't even
you're
call it 20. Let's just say 5. Don't even say 20. Let's say you're living together for 5 years.
how old are we?
25 into your 30s. Or 20 or 30 into your 35s. Regardless, you're living together for 5 years, very strong relationship.
Living together,
Living
okay.
together for 5 years, very strong relationship, but you're not married. You guys
Yeah.
both talk about being married. You have said you want to, blah, 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 but you're not technically married, which means technically, as they claim, the person can walk out.
Yeah.
Right? But the reason I'm saying is, do you get married before you're married? Because they're like, if you feel like you want to get married, and you're saying you want to get married, and you act like you're married, blah, 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 but you're not actually married, do you still have to act like you're married and be like, you know what, I'm still investing in this and still technically have to, you know, be there for these conversations and deal with these conversations because I look at you as my wife? Or is it, until you're actually my wife, I mean, we could just break up. It's still just a breakup rather than a divorce.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I get that. I think it's, maybe I came across like very harsh, but I do think you, like there has to be a certain level of respect and obligation to your partner, right? For at any stage in the relationship. I just think that, you know, in the early stages, and especially if you're not in a situation where you guys are either living together or working towards building something together, there is like a bit of an air there where it's like, how serious are we about this, right? How serious are we about this relationship if we're not taking those active steps to move forward?
Right.
And I think those present other questions in themselves. Like, you know, I've been dating you for this long, but we haven't done this. Like, why haven't we moved in together?
Is it financial?
Is it financial? Like, why not? It's at some point you kind of have to ask yourself, like, what does this say about our relationship? Right? And then for me, that would make me think, like, okay, are we really not that serious? Like, what's going on? But it is interesting because I definitely have seen cases and heard cases where it's like, look, me and my girl were dating for years, 7 years, but you know,
They ain't my wife though.
she ain't my wife. And that same woman might be like, look, he hasn't put a ring on it. I don't think he's serious. I don't think he's serious. And those
I
are,
don't think he's serious. Imagine.
yeah.
Like,
But those are problems
Yeah.
that speaks to a bigger issue in the relationship, right? How are you dating for that amount of time and truly believe that someone is not serious?
Yeah.
Like they would have had to have given you reason to
Yeah.
believe that, and vice versa, right? So I think people don't just walk into those situations.
yeah.
They willingly know what's
Yeah.
going on as it's happening, right? So I don't know. That situation is kind of crazy. I couldn't imagine dating someone for freaking more than 5 years, and then just being like, I'm like, this isn't for me. Like
That's crazy.
I'm not really like
isn't
I'm
for
not really
me.
obligated to you. We got another question here. It literally just came in right now. It is, what would be the difference between friends with benefits and an open relationship? I think I know how to answer this one because they are different.
Well, yeah, they're different. Go for it.
So first of all,
Do you believe in open relationships? Do you believe?
I
in
was
that?
gonna say both of these things. So like,
Okay.
hold on. So like, open relationships, I think, for I'd say for 95% of people do not work, right? I think there's like a special group of people that it can work for because both parties have to be on board with that. I think, if I'm speaking honestly, I think there are a lot of people in open relationships that they don't know about. You can take that however you want to take that, and I think that's what's happening.
Or one-sided open relationship.
That's what I mean. But hey, I was gonna let them figure that one out. But friends with benefits, to me, I don't know how much friends with benefits truly exists, because I used to think, like honestly, I used to think when I was younger that it was something that was doable. But I quickly learned that someone always catches feelings.
Have to.
You said have to.
Have to.
You have to catch feelings.
Have to.
So, because here's my thing. I wouldn't know how to, I don't think there's even a right way to go about being friends with benefits. I think if you're genuinely friends with someone first, and then you guys start fooling around thinking that, oh, we can just do this and still be friends, I think you're both stupid.
Yeah,
Like, it will not work.
Delusional.
It will not work.
Delusional.
I think the only way it could potentially work is you meet someone, whether it's through like a dating app or at the bar or whatever it is, you sleep with each other, but you realize like, you know what, I don't think we're compatible to date. But I'm cool with you.
I like doing this.
Yeah, I'm cool with you, but you know, I just don't think we can date. And every now and then, you guys sleep with each other. You might text, you might talk.
See, the problem is who's saying I don't think we could date? Both parties?
I think it
Because rarely is it both parties. Because the thing is, one person says it,
Yeah.
the other person is, but why? Like, why not though?
but why?
Like, why not though?
If you ever get hit, if someone ever hits you with a but why, just understand that from that point on, it's
You need to cut it.
problematic.
Cut it from there.
It's problematic. Because, well, ideally you would like to think that both people would understand energy and catch the vibes, right? So as cliche as that sounds, but it's true. You know, like I know very quickly whether or not, I know off the bat, honestly, whether or not I want to date you or not.
Yeah.
If I've been talking to you, I know very quickly whether or not I want to date you. And the more I get to know you, I start seeing things that say to myself, Zamora, don't date this person. Like, don't date them. Or, yeah, I want to date you. Or, I'm cool with you, but I think it's only cool if we sleep with each other. Like, every now and then, sporadically. You know what I mean?
So open relationships, I agree. I don't feel they're working. I don't feel like they can work. Even I feel like the situations that they are working in currently, I feel like there's some deep issues that someone's not okay with, but they've already agreed to it and they've committed. So now they're like, I just gotta let like.
The thing is, I know people who are in, like I know couples who are in open relationships, and for them it works. But I literally said from the jump, it takes like a special person for them to do this because
I know. I feel like it is working for them, but we're not in people's minds. We'll never know anything. So it's like on the outside, yeah, we do this. Yeah. Oh, I'm perfectly fine. My girl getting, pressed by the guys, and I'm perfectly fine if a girl just comes onto my man. I don't mind. Like like they can say that to us. They can say it to the public, but we're not in their mind at night. We're not there.
But that's the thing, though. I think the myth behind open relationships is that everyone is just doing whatever with anyone, and they just don't have any emotions behind it, right? We're in a sense where it's like, I'm not gonna get jealous, right? Like I know those people who are in open relationships, they still experience those emotions where they're like, I'm kind of jealous. Like, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But I think the reason I say those people are special is because they're able to
get by it.
I genuinely think so. They're able to not let that feeling be like, you know what? I can't do this anymore. Because for me, that would happen.
Yeah.
That would generally happen. I cannot do this.
I'm done with it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's a problem because it's a double standard.
Yeah.
I know plenty of men who'd be like, oh, I can sleep with other women, but you can't sleep with other men.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's a real double standard, which is why it just doesn't work for a lot of people. But what do you think about friends with benefits? I cut you off there.
Oh yeah, so I think the friends with benefits thing is similar to what you're saying. Like someone always catches feelings and either both do or one does, and that's just mandatory to happen. If it doesn't happen right away, it happens eventually. And the problem with that is the main difference is the reason you're friends with benefits rather than dating or in a relationship is because someone doesn't see that as a probability. Like that's not actually good. Like whether it's sometimes it might be race. Sometimes it's like I could never be with this type of person because I just couldn't. My family wouldn't like it, or my friends, whatever. So even if they might necessarily want to, they won't because they're like, I don't want the backlash that comes with it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it could be religion. Sometimes it could be, I've been in situations where I like tall girls. So there was a girl that truthfully, there was a girl that was really really short, like under 5. Like 4'11", no joke. Super small girl, so dope. Like I'm not she was so dope. But I couldn't conceptualize seeing literally seeing myself with someone that small. Yeah. Like nothing she could have done about it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like so I kind of compartmentalize her and put her in like, this is all we can really do because like, you're just small, like really, really small.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you're a bad person. Doesn't mean you're ugly. Blah. Like it's just like, this would be fun to do together. Can I literally see myself like being in a relationship with you and like it just doesn't work for me. You know what I'm saying? And because I've accepted that, then I didn't let that progress. But she gave me the but why? Like why not? And I couldn't for the life of me say because you're short. Like so it was more just like a, you know, like
oh my God, we talked about this so much. The but why, like in response to it, man. Like it's tough, honestly, but it's true. At the end of the day, we don't think that we explain the differences between the two. I don't think either one of us think that they fully work.
No.
For the majority of people, I know friends with benefits does not work.
No.
It never does. It never will.
No.
Because how am I gonna be friends with you? And we're both knocking boots over time, and I'm gonna one day just marry someone else. But I'm your friend, so I'm gonna invite you to my wedding.
No.
Or like, I'm gonna say, nah, you can't come to the wedding because like, you know, we were knocking boots for years. It might be awkward. Like,
you're my friend though.
No, it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Nobody else knows.
It doesn't work. Catches feelings. And you know what? No one else might know, but I guarantee.
You'll feel it.
I guarantee the girl that you end up with,
she'll feel it.
She'll know.
She'll feel it.
She'll know. Look,
it'll be one of those covers like, who's that? It's
listen, yo, let me. Put the camera on me for a second. Listen to this. Anytime, fellas, anytime your girl says to you, yo, who's that? Like, just know that your girl already knows who it is.
Yeah.
She's already done all the research she needs. She's just waiting to see if you're gonna lie to her, right? That's the best piece of advice I'll ever give you in this life. I promise you.
And as a response, if a guy's asked that question and he squints. I've known for years. I've known for years.
This is what they do. This is how you know for a fact a guy has done something wrong. The girl says like, who is this? And the guy says, what are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
If they squint, if the guy squints.
Like the question was absurd.
What are you talking about? Just know that you're in for a conversation that no one wanted to have.
Oh, the question, what are you talking about, it's probably the most reckless thing to ask somebody.
But you know what?
You know exactly, like, what could someone ask you that's so outrageous that you generally say, what are you talking about? Like,
no, but this is the thing, though. It's one of those, like, the boy who cried wolf situation, because there are genuinely times where I've actually said, what are you talking about? And I'm really trying to understand, like, what would possess you to, like, say this?
Your tone is different. Because when you say what you're talking about when you're serious, it's anger. It's like, what are you talking about?
Like, what are you talking about?
I'm generally confused.
But if a man's like,
what are you talking about? It's a completely different tone.
Oh my God. Okay. Man. I think that's the perfect place to end the show.
What are we talking about today? I have no idea. I don't know.
We went over a bunch of topics. We have a bunch more questions that we'll bring over to the next one. Feel free to, honestly, we're going to make another post. Drop more questions on the podcast page, Wntt.tv.
Yes.
You can catch the previous episodes on Cameras TV online on the website. It's in our bio. You can find that. It'll be on the YouTube as well. That was a great episode.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Anyway,
thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate you guys always. That episode of Wntt TV. Thank you guys for listening and watching.
Peace.
Hello? We need to talk.
We need to talk.
We need to talk. We need to talk. We need to talk.